This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome to Wish TV's Business, Equity, and Opportunities. I'm Scott Sander. As part of Circle City Broadcasting's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, this show speaks directly to entrepreneurs to help educate, inform, and provide necessary information to develop the skills needed to start and run a successful small business. Here, the information is coming directly from successful business owners and community leaders who've each been through the processes and know the joys and pitfalls that you will encounter along the way. And they all have a vested interest in this, our community. By sharing their wisdom, they hope to grow the local business community and make it stronger. We strive to provide current information focused on diversity, equity, and opportunities. Each of the show's 7 segments are designed to cover the important and, frankly, frequently misunderstood topics you will face when starting a small business. You can watch every week right here or catch the live stream on wishtv.com. You can also access all of our content on demand and share it anytime at beoshow.com. Our site is continuing to grow in content, and as the weeks progress, you'll find new content and additional resource information. Coming up on today's Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Many businesses know the value of giving back to their communities. We talked to the organizers of this year's Indie Pride to find out how they're connecting with and showcasing local businesses. We focus on logistics companies in our industry focus. One of the best in the country is a woman-owned company right here in Indianapolis. Also, we hear the success story of restaurant owner Ron Jordan, who grew up in the family business. Our first topic, getting started. Every week, this segment focuses on things you should consider, think about, plan around, and prepare for as you start putting your new business together. This week, sales leads. Many businesses rely on them. They're a way to generate important sources, but success or failure may hinge on the quality of those leads. So, how can you identify which leads have the best prospects?
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Getting started.
So one of the things when I speak to entrepreneurs about starting their business, about getting going, especially when they encounter a roadblock, is I walk them through a framework. And it's called the CHAMP framework. So it's the C in the CHAMP framework first stands for current situation. Before we get going, we have to figure out where we currently are. So what are your current situation? What are your current skill sets? And that's always great to figure out, to inventory, because then we can figure out what we need to do to actually get to where we're going, which is the next thing. So the next one, when we look at the H, is in hone in on your desired destination. So what's your desired destination on where it is that you want to be? Now in your business, this number could be something in terms of revenue goals. This could be employee base, or it could be how many people you want to serve in your community. So after we figure out that, then we figure out A. And A is we want to apply the 80-20 principle. And this is a principle, it's called the Pareto's principle, and it states that 20% of our activities actually yield 80% of our results. So what is that 20% and what does it do for you? How do I get there? I'm glad you asked. So here, we're going to go through and we're going to make another sheet and we're going to figure out how we make the 80-20. And how we do there is we first make a triangle and then we figure out everything that we have to do. And then from there, we figure out what things we can first, E, eliminate from our to-do list. That's not going to get us closer to our goal, our desired destination. A, we automate our payroll, automate groceries, automate bills, and make sure that we're not taking our brain power doing those sort of activities. And next, we delegate. So then we delegate the rest of our stuff inside of our business so that we're not the sole one responsible for selling, for fulfillment, for customer service. We should really figure out what we're good at, and that's gonna be that 20%, and that's gonna be things that you could do on your own inside your business that's gonna yield the greatest result. Next, after that, what do? We M, and that's gonna be massive action. Once you figure out what it is that you should be doing, your unique gift inside your business, that's what you should be spending all your time on. Everything else we outsource, we get it off our plate, and once we get that done, then its P is gonna be the pursuit. And that's gonna be the pursuit of that championship transformation. I feel like I'm always chasing the best version of myself. And I don't wanna catch that person because I think it's gonna leave me room to grow. And that's what I do when I'm figuring out problem solving, how I get something done inside my business and where I begin and where I start. If you like this video and you want more, you can visit my website at garybrackett.com and fill out the questionnaire. We'll be sure to get back to you.
Why considering an angel investor might be a good option for you in access to capital. And our industry focus this week, business owner Cathy Langham explains the continually changing landscape of the logistics business. Be sure to find out more online at beoshow.com. This is Business Equity and Opportunities. We'll be right back.
Getting started, made possible by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome back. Time for access to capital. As we keep stressing, it's one thing that every new business owner must address. Over the course of this show, contributors will talk about many options for finding much needed money in both traditional ways and those that are less conventional, like angel investors. Finding the right one can take a while and certainly be difficult. Those who know, though, tell us it takes time and connections.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Access to capital.
In a nutshell, a typical angel investor is someone who has started and or run businesses in their careers, typically, and they're typically successful business people who have amassed some level of wealth from that activity of their business operations and ownership, and who are passionate about assisting businesses to grow. And for that, they're seeking companies that they can invest in that either they're passionate about from an industry focus or that they're passionate about because of the team that's assembled for that business. Angel investors typically are looking for a return on their capital that they invest in these businesses. They tend to be a little bit more patient, so we kind of define it as patient capital, but not permanent capital. Generally, the objective would be to have a liquidity event somewhere in the cycle whereby the business is able to cash out the angel investor and provide a return on that early capitalization that was provided. So they're hard to find because there's very little marketing and advertising done by angel investors to say, hey, here I am, come see me. And yet, in a community like Indianapolis and central Indiana, and really throughout the state, angel investors are kind of known to many business people, lawyers, business lawyers, accounting firms, and so it's really relationship based, and they're not looking to cast a wide net in terms of the number of kinds of companies that they're looking to invest in. They generally are looking to invest in companies that they know something about in terms of the industry exposure, and so they can, in addition to parlaying their capital, they want to be able to add value by mentorship and guidance and counsel. So Angel investors are an interesting source of capital for all of those reasons, but I think at the top of the list is the mentorship, the ability to get an angel investor to spend time with an aspiring entrepreneur, to give guidance, to help solve problems, and to network, to introduce the entrepreneur to various people in all kinds of disciplines that will help their business succeed. It's an art, not science. I think it's networking. I think it's attending conferences and seminars, and I think it's going to the economic club and listening to the speakers, and then networking with those folks at your table or at other tables, and attending some of the wonderful not-for-profit organization events where a lot of the business owners and civic leaders are attending, and therein lies kind of the room full of folks who you never know what their ability to help you can be. So sometimes you don't find the angel investor, you find the person that knows the angel investor. And the networking has to be purposeful, and it has to be frequent, and it has to be sustainable, because it's never an easy search mission. It's more of a journey, so to speak. So, but I think there are folks at banks and bankers and folks at the Small Business Administration and certain law firms that specialize in business law. I think they sometimes know who those individuals are that have an interest and experience in working and investing in businesses. So I think it's just a matter of connecting the dots.
Coming up, we look at opportunities for small businesses to get involved in local events that are good for business and good for the community. That and more when Business Equity and Opportunities returns.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities on Wish TV. I'm Scott Sander. Successful business owners understand the importance of staying on top of the latest news and business trends. In This Week in Business, we have a special guest. Shelley Snyder joins us, Executive Director of Indy Pride. We're in July, coming off a big June. How did it go?
It was so amazing, Scott. We had more than 60,000 people come to our parade and 35,000 people come to our festival this year. We were just overjoyed with the show of support we saw.
Much like the small business owners who will be watching this, you all have had to deal with a couple of years of craziness because of the pandemic. How have you bounced back? How have you dealt with all that?
Yes. So for 2 years, we were not able to have a festival or parade, actually any in-person events. The 2019 was the last time we were able to come together for the parade and festival. We were very excited to come together this year. It means so much to this community to be able to come together and show that they are welcomed in this environment.
As we talk about community, widely speaking, LGBTQ plus issues are huge to you, near and dear to your heart.
Yes, they are.
You're speaking to an audience that wants to know how different pieces fit into a successful business puzzle.
Yes.
As you think of that from your perspective, what do you want them to know?
I want them to know that inclusive workspaces are better for everybody.
How so?
Not only is it good for the people who work there to show that all voices are welcome and deserve to be heard, it's also good for the business's bottom line. So it's good for productivity, it's good there are reports out there that say that it's good for stock prices when you are more inclusive in your environments. It's good for turnover. You make better products, and you can provide better services to people when you know all the different ways that people could be affected by
when
that.
you start talking bottom line, you get people to pay attention. Let's take this in a few pieces. The customer side of all of this.
Yes.
There is a community out there that will need goods and services.
That's right.
What does a business owner need to do to say, hey, listen, we're welcome to all?
Yes, so it's not just about slapping a rainbow logo on your website. It is way more than that. So you want to make sure that you have inclusive practices within your organization. So just merely having an LGBTQ plus anti-discrimination policy in your organization will make those employees feel more welcome. So that's always important. And then also making sure that you are listening to those customers to make sure that you hear what it is that they are interested in getting out of your product or service.
You mentioned the employee side of this.
Yes.
Let's get into that a little bit more. Like any community, people within it share information.
They do.
I would presume that it's pretty quickly evident for people in the LGBTQ plus community, hey, this is a place where we feel welcome.
That's right. Yes, so word of mouth is definitely important. There's also a really neat tool for some of the larger businesses that is produced by the Human Rights Campaign called the Corporate Equality Index. And this is where annually they will go and they will investigate organizations in the top 500, and they will see if they have anti-discrimination policies, if they have good insurance for their trans individuals, if they have made a public statement in support of LGBTQ plus individuals. And then they get a rating based on all of those things. And then every year they get rated again, and you can see that organizations that get a higher rating the next year on the Corporate Equality Index actually do better profit-wise the next year.
Again, talking bottom line, I guess as we draw short on time today, I know you have much more in terms of thoughts. If people want to reach out either to you or Indie Pride or any organization you think would be helpful, what would you say?
Yes, I would say totally reach out to me. I'm happy to be the conduit for those conversations. IndiePride.org is our website, and my email address can be found on there. I'm Shelly Snyder.
She is Shelly Snyder. She's good enough to take some time on This Week in Business to share her experiences. Thank you.
You're welcome.
More business equity and opportunities right after this.
We haven't had a festival in 2 years, and to be back at the festival and just soak in all the love and acceptance it just fills me up and makes me so warm.
I think it's great. It's my first Pride ever, so I'm having fun. We just got here, so it's really exciting. I'm having a lot of fun.
I think it's just beautiful. I love that the crowd is so big. I think a lot of people kind of underestimate Indianapolis, but we got a big crowd here, and it's just beautiful. It's so wonderful.
She needed to be out, have a good time, be around a great environment. She was a little anxious staying at home, didn't want her to be home alone. You know, everyone here is welcome. Everyone deserves their voice heard. Everyone deserves to be felt loved, to be cared for, to be protected by our own community, you know? So definitely here to show support, make sure we share the love.
Just the variety of people, I think. I personally like seeing the older veterans that are out here. And the drag queens, they're fantastic.
Definitely like the amount of churches and like unexpected groups here, I think is very cool.
I'm a part of the community. I'm a bisexual woman, and to be able to come amongst all of my other community, you know, my alphabet mafia, it is absolutely just great. Like we get to be accepted, we can do whatever we want, we can just be free and not have to look over our shoulders. This is the place to do it and to just fully be yourself.
We want to support everyone. I want to make sure that he's exposed to different people, different types of people, and grows up accepting everyone and being welcoming to everyone.
I came just to celebrate, have a good time, get out the house, enjoy the people, see some faces, love everybody. Don't judge nobody, you never know. Be happy.
When we come back, one of the most important areas that every business must get a handle on, accounting and bookkeeping. You must know your numbers to succeed and practice good banking habits. When we come back, we'll find out why debt can actually be a good thing to have when you're seeking a business loan. Stay here for more insights on business equity and opportunities.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities. Our next topic is accounting and bookkeeping. We group these together, but they are different. Bookkeeping, the numbers and the facts. Accounting reviews and analyzes those facts and figures to make sure you can keep your business on track. Both, though, are clearly important to the successful operation of any new business. Today, we take a quick look at debt, the role it plays in your business plan, and how debt can be a good thing.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Accounting and Bookkeeping.
Only 1% of Black entrepreneurs will pursue a business loan in their first year. And that's really concerning because you really need capital to grow your business. So I know for me personally, it's been very important for me to be able to access financial products like business lines of credit and credit cards and things of that nature, because you just need those resources to get a business off the ground. And so that's something that I think is important and something that we need to be thinking about as a community. One of the things we found was that nearly 50% of Black people were either unbanked or underbanked. And that's a national statistic. When you talk to bankers locally, they think it might even be higher. What that means is you have weak relationships with financial institutions, and that has an impact on the ability to even, seek financial education because you don't know the questions that you should be asking. Part of this is connected to low home ownership rates, low business formation rates as well, and so there's just less of a need to actually ask for other things other than deposits. The other thing that we learned is that there's just weak banking relationships within the Black community in general. An FDIC study found that roughly 50% of Black people are either unbanked or underbanked nationally. We think that number might be even higher locally. One of the things that people don't realize is that debt is actually good for you. I had a chance to study business at the Kelley School of Business when I got my MBA, and one of the things they taught us in our corporate finance classes was that when you get a loan or you get credit, you're able to grow your business and you actually increase the value of your business. And so my hope is that when people hear this, they're not afraid of debt. They see it as a friend. They see it as something that could actually help them grow their business as opposed to just thinking about the fact that they have to pay it back.
I think the show is wonderful. The areas that you're studying and providing content are certainly the challenge areas. We always talk about barriers to entry or barriers to success, and I think the topics, access to capital, managing legal risk and human resources issue, and even how to best tell your story, those are challenges that are going to face entrepreneurs of all business sizes.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I'm out in the community and people have never heard of LISC or don't know exactly what we do. And so we're grateful for segments like this because it gives us an opportunity to tell our story, but it also gives the community an opportunity to hear the story and to hear what services we provide.
Giving entrepreneurs, would-be business owners, management teams the opportunity to know where resources are, whether they be the financial resource providers or the technical assistance that companies need to put together their business plans, to work with accounting firms for their financial needs, and myriad of other services that are all necessary for any level business to succeed and grow and thrive.
Our thanks to Marshawn Wolley for helping sort out one aspect of accounting and bookkeeping. He'll be back with us in the coming weeks to share more of his important insights. You're watching Wish TV's Business, Equity, and Opportunities, our new show designed for people who are interested in starting their own small business. For more information on all of our topics, check out our website. It's beoshow.com. You can access all of our segments and resources on demand. Also, be sure to sign up for our Business, Equity, and Opportunities newsletter. When we come back, Scott Jones walks us through cybersecurity threats and whether there's anything you can do about them. Stick around.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome back to Business, Equity, and Opportunities. We've talked about getting your business started, accessing capital, some ways you can learn more about the tech side of your company. Now we turn our attention to running your business day to day. If you're starting a new business, you may be concerned about cybersecurity. It's clear there have been threats, small and large, to all sorts of businesses. To help you sort through the dangers, we turn to an expert in the field of cybersecurity.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Running your business day to day.
Scott Jones is the founder and president of the 1150 Academy, a nonprofit that focuses on software development, learning, specializes in cybersecurity. In fact, the cybersecurity program includes training in both attack and defense on a military-grade training range.
Every business is in the business of tech, even agriculture, logistics, healthcare, manufacturing, advanced manufacturing. Tech is a component of everything. What company does not have a website? Small or large, you don't exist if you don't have a website. What company doesn't have to worry about cybersecurity? Every company has to worry about cybersecurity today. It's a big deal. And there are other areas that the Academy is expanding upon. There's things like DevOps, there's cloud computing. All companies in all these different dimensions have a tech component. Now that doesn't mean everybody there is doing tech, but if you know the language of tech, you're likely to be doing your job a whole lot better, and you're likely to earn a lot more income if you know tech. And so when we teach, we don't expect everybody to walk out of here and spend the rest of their lives coding. But if they know what coding is and understand the implications of what you can do and what you can build with coding and with cybersecurity and IT, it gives you many more dimensions of what you can do in your career. And if you're building a company, which is what I've spent my career doing, is building companies, it allows you to see things that others don't see. Yeah, cybersecurity is upon us, right? And we've been seeing it in the headlines. You know, we wake up to headlines almost every day. Social security numbers, passwords, and worse, there's even, water companies, electric companies being hit by this. Companies that are being held hostage, whole entire cities that are being held hostage with ransomware using Bitcoin or whatever. So those are the kinds of headlines we're seeing. It is estimated that practically every business will be hit somehow with a cybersecurity attack at some meaningful level. And it doesn't take much. It only takes, one chink in the armor for somebody to take a phishing email and click on the link and you're toast. Unless you've done your cybersecurity right, your defensive operations. So there's defense and there's offense. We have a multi-million-dollar cyber range here that lets our people go onto red team, blue team, and actually understand the details of both sides of the action and by the way, that action is it's illegal. You can't do the things we do in our walled garden or the SWAT team comes and knocks your door down, right? So this is like serious education about all all the things that are happening behind those headlines. Like, how did it happen? How would you stop it from happening? Once it has happened, how do you fix it? That's what we teach. And the Academy, the invention of my invention of the Academy is world-changing. And that's what I'm really focused on 100% right now. Now, there are some things coming down the road that have to do with nanotechnology. There's some aviation things. I used to have the Coca-Cola aerobatics team. I'm a helicopter pilot and a fixed-wing pilot. So I've always had an interest in flight and nanotechnology from MIT and artificial intelligence. And also stem cell technology, which I have a company in that domain as well. So those are the places where my mind is playing, right? And at some point there'll be the right opportunities to go explore more.
From topics like cybersecurity to human resources, join us every week for Running Your Business Day to Day. Those segments to help you find more tips and insights from the experts to run your business successfully. Still to come, our industry focus looks at the ever-evolving world of logistics. We talk to the owner of one of Indiana's top logistics companies, Cathy Langham. She shares insights into her industry coming up on Business Equity and Opportunities. I'm Scott Sander. Stay with us.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome back. I'm Scott Sander. Each week on Business Equity and Opportunities, we'll focus on a specific industry and hear from the business leaders in it about the current state of that industry and what the future holds. This week's industry focus looks at the logistics and transportation industry, a business sector that has gone through immense changes and challenges over the last couple of years. And even now, with high fuel prices and new technologies, it's always evolving.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Industry Focus.
Cathy Langham is president and CEO of Langham Logistics, a woman-owned business that's an Indiana success story. She talks about the ever-changing landscape of the logistics business and where it's going from here.
I love the fact that people know what logistics means. I think as one outcome of COVID, a lot of people understand supply chain and logistics more than ever, and now it's a sexy thing to go in. You know, before no one knew what it was and it didn't seem that appealing. Now we have a lot more interest, and so that has attracted a lot of different sorts of potential employees, and it's just elevated the importance of supply chain. So I would say in the last couple of years, logistics has become a household word, and it continues to evolve and have tons of opportunity for entrepreneurs, for employees, and for our customers. Langham focuses in 4 main industries: automotive, industrial products, food, and pharma. And we've done that for a long time. In the last few years, we've had a special focus in the warehousing side of the business, especially in pharma and biotech and biopharma and all the related supplies that go with that. So we chose to take a business, a segment of this industry that had a higher barrier to entry. It's not for the meek of heart, it's expensive, and the quality levels are a lot higher than our core business. We still love our main business. You know, I wouldn't call it our main business, but our other business of automotive and industrial products and food. This pharma has stretched the team and provided a lot of great opportunity, especially in this environment where a lot of these sorts of companies want to reshore a lot of their raw materials. Where they needed 4 months of safety stock, now they need 18 months. Yeah, they've really got to keep an eye on things. They're not interested in investing CapEx in warehouses. They want to invest in manufacturing and doing things back in the domestic U.S., they want a good partner that can do the warehousing and distribution and transportation. Logistics is a very dynamic business to be in, especially now. Between COVID and countries shutting down, the war, fuel prices, backups at the ports, we're blocking supply chain, which affects everything we're doing, whether it's consumer products or building buildings or creating large molecule drugs. Yeah, everything's been affected. So we are at the center of all the madness that is going on across the world now. So we've got to really keep our eyes open to the pivots in the supply chain. What's working, what's not? Is China locked down? Have they opened up? Are we doing business with Russia? Are we not doing business with Russia? You know, we've got to keep our eyes on the geopolitical environment as well as anything going on, and then pivot. If one port's shut down, another one needs to open. We need to pivot how we're moving that freight via ocean, or once it gets here. Is it rail? Is it truck? Is it air? There's an opportunity for a chance, I'll say, for a port strike coming up in about a month. That will change everything again. So I think we really have to stay on top of everything that's going on and make sure we are making very good decisions with and on behalf of our clients.
I really think the Business Equity Opportunity show is a great idea. As an entrepreneur, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And you don't even know what questions to ask. So having a program that's going to share with you some business principles from some leaders in the community that saw their fair share of success and failure is going to help accelerate your learning curve. It's going to help you become a better business owner a lot faster.
But it's for entrepreneurship. And Indiana, we've been in the bottom 3 states in terms of new business formation. And we got to move up. You know, we can't be in the bottom 3 states. We got to strive to get to the middle and then to the upper half, and then continue to strive to get higher and higher. Encourage new business formation. Entrepreneurs like me, great, but we have to have more of it and work with and get the word out that these resources are there. And that's where you all come in. And you have mouthpieces like me. I'm happy to sit down with you, but many others as well. No one can do a better job getting the word out than you guys.
When I heard about the program, I was really excited because it gives some visibility to the business community, the diverse business community, and some of the struggles, some of the opportunities. It highlights some very successful businesses that are not necessarily relying on, certification or goals from different corporations, but they actually have viable companies that can compete with other non-minority owned firms. And I think probably some of the businesses that you'll be speaking with, that will be very evident.
Coming up, Ron Jordan shares his success story and a bit of family history when Business Equity and Opportunities returns.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Finally in our program, we focus on something every entrepreneur hopes for in business, a success story. The path to success is different for everyone. Each week on Business Equity and Opportunities, we'll share a success story from one of our business contributors. You'll meet many fascinating leaders and see how their path to success may be similar to yours. This week, we find out what the impact of growing up in a family business can have and the hard lessons that come with it.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Success Story.
You know, it's funny because I told myself early on, I would never be in the restaurant business, at least, right? I always knew I'd be an entrepreneur, but I didn't want to be in the restaurant business. And here we are, 20 something years later. I'm third generation, so I'm in the restaurant business. My family, we started at Popeyes in 1997, March 4th of 97. My grandparents would go back and forth to Chicago, and Michael Jordan and the Bulls were still winning. So it was a really good time in life in general, right? And he really enjoyed the brand at Popeyes and said, hey, we got to do this at home. Brought it back, took an old Sister's Chicken, which I'm not sure if you guys had those here in Indianapolis, but it was a brand that Dave Thomas and Wendy's had developed at the time. Massive dining rooms. We converted that over to a Popeyes, one of the first in Columbus. And we took off from there. I was 9 at the time when we did it. And I've done everything from A to Z, kind of grew up in that business. That's why I said, hey, I'm not doing this long term. And here I am right back in the throes of things in terms of restaurants with Donato's. So excited to do it though. The things that I've learned growing up, obviously work ethic, right? To be in this business, you have to be ready and willing to work as hard as you absolutely can, right? You get 2 days a year off, and your phone's constantly ringing. Those are things that I saw growing up. So now it's second nature to me to have to be able to be on call and work whenever we have to. Luckily, I have a great team here, so I don't have to make pizzas or anything like that, but I am the type of person who has developed that work ethic from those mentors in life. What I've also learned and gotten an understanding for is just people in general. A lot of people make the common mistake that we're in the food business. Food's our medium. We're in the people business. Whether it's you as the consumer or whether it's me as an employee or employer, people are the commonality between everything. So my job as the CEO has been to learn how to take care of people. If I don't take care of people first, in terms of my guests, in terms of my staff, in terms of just myself in general, the operation's not gonna work, right? So I think those are the things I've learned the most along the way. If you're an entrepreneur, there's some dark times, right? And for me, my pivot moment was more recent than people would think. I was in an independent restaurant. And I tell you, that world is different, very different than fast casual and franchise. And that for me, getting through a pandemic where you can't control your costs, you can't control so many different variable factors within your business, really taught me that this may be the best world for me. So we were able to make that pivot coming out of COVID to get back to the fast casual space after we sold our Popeyes in 2020. Had 2 hard years of survival with hen quarter, and then we were able to shut that down here recently and then still be able to roll with what we're doing here at Donato's. Every day there's a surprise, right? But is there anything that surprises me? No. I think what surprises me is people have, in my opinion, the propensity not to understand the cyclical nature of the business, right? It's all the same, and it's all going to continuously cycle, right? I think a lot of people think they're getting ahead of the game, they're being innovative, but some things are just going to stay the same. And it's about how you manage through that, not try to manage it. And I think that's what surprises me most about people still. But to be honest with you, am I ever surprised? No. Pretty much of the same, right? That's kind of how you look at it. So I'm partnered with Michael Red and a few other gentlemen on our cap table. And 22 Ventures, they have a big idea of growing and scaling Black-owned businesses. So for us, our goal was to come together and grow the hospitality vertical, which we've started, right? This is our first step. Our goal ultimately is to have 4 to 5 brands, national brands across the country, to where we're invested in those brands the same way we are in Donato's. That's at least my ultimate goal. Our goal is to get to 100 million over the next 5 years. And I think we can get there. So we've got some really hard working people, some foundational blocks here in Indianapolis, which is key to our next couple of ventures. And once we get those folks in place and continue to grow the business for us, we're on to the next venture and figuring out how we can grow and scale those. So that's what's next for me. We like to play in tech a little bit, and then the real estate space. So those are things that are also on the horizon for us. I struggle the most with balance because, again, I'm an ex-college athlete. So for me, I was the guy that was the first in the film room. I was the one that was the last to leave, right? And my mentality is still the same. I do have 4 kids now and 4 daughters at home. So for me, learning that balance has been tough. I've got some moments where we can sit down one day and over a coffee or something, and I can tell you about how I closed a deal on Space Mountain in Disney World, right? Like, those are things I've had to learn. Sometimes being more present is more effective in that stage of your life. It's still a work in progress every day. If you ask my wife, she'll tell you I'm not great at it, but I am learning day to day. So yes, balance is tough, but it's what I do. It's what I love. It's what I enjoy, and If I didn't enjoy it, then it'd be a different ballgame. And like everybody tells you, you find something you love, you never work a day in your life. And that's kind of how I feel about what I do day to day. Understand what risk really means to you, right? I think a lot of people see the glitz and the glam of, being an entrepreneur, much like the owner of your station, right? Who's a great guy, gotten to meet, you see him and his success, right? You're like, man, I want that, I can do that. What you don't see are the sleepless nights and the things that you put into your business to get to a certain point, right? So that assessing that risk is huge. Outside of that, really getting an understanding of what about the business you're passionate about, right? Those are things that have to happen, and you have to be unafraid to fail. Failure is a requirement. If you're afraid to fail, then you're in the wrong business. You might need a 9-to-5, might need to be a desk, might have to work at a desk. But for me as an entrepreneur, failure is something I've always just ran into. You have to have it. If you don't, you're never really going to succeed. You're never really going to win. So losses are the most important things. A lot of people love to celebrate your wins and your victories. That's great. But the losses is what teaches you things. So when you do lose, as long as you learn from it, puts you in the best space possible to continue to succeed.
Our thanks to all our contributors for giving their time to help make this episode of Business Equity and Opportunities possible. We hope you found the information enlightening, useful, maybe inspiring, and be sure to watch every week right here. We also live stream this on wishtv.com, and you can access all of our content and share it on demand anytime at beoshow.com. Sign up for our new Business Equity and Opportunities newsletter and get more valuable, up-to-date information there. And join us again next week for more insights into the world of small business on Business Equity and Opportunities. I'm Scott Sander. Thanks for watching. I'm Scott Sanders. Thanks for watching this encore presentation of Business Equity and Opportunities. We hope you've learned some tips that'll help you start or grow your own business. If you'd like to catch up on past episodes or segments, watch us here every weekday or visit us at beoshow.com. And don't forget, new episodes of Business Equity and Opportunities air every Sunday morning on Wish TV, or you can stream it live at wishtv.com. Fuel your entrepreneurial spirit. Watch Business Equity and Opportunities from Wish TV.